Here we're looking at the only awful creepypasta of a Powerpuff Girls one. This time it's an anime. It says it on the GLCS Lost Episodes wiki. I'll link to it. It says Powerpuff Girls Z Missing episode Himeko of. Now then, dear author, we're not criticizing you as people, only your stories. Keep writing, keep improving. Use your grammar and fix the story when you look back. We cool? Cool. Let's get going. I'm sure most people are aware of the Powerpuff Girls franchise created by Craig McCracken, and I'm also certain that there's a handful of them are aware of the existence of an anime called Powerpuff Girls Z that was basically a magical girl adaptation of the original series, but with several changes to accommodate its denser and wackier tone, such as Blossom now being a clueless boy, crazy sicko, and a lot more. While the show received a split response for most of these changes. Okay, pointless grammar for the sake of it. Anyway, continue. Welcome change was the portrayal of the Himeko Zero game, Japan's take on Princess Morbucks and her later character development. I bring her up because fans were hot on the search for a supposedly pulled episode that was basically a rough draft of her debut episode that was tweaked into the final product. Okay, I like where this is going so far, and unluckily for me, I came across it. How, you may ask? Quite simple. You see, a friend of mine was traveling in Japan, and he informed me through an online chat that he uncovered an abandoned DVD case that featured characters from Powerpuff Girls Z on it, with Himeko being the primary focus. He claims that an unaired episode, entitled Episode 6B Himeko of the Night, was the content of the DVD, but stated he wanted it sent to me because apparently this DVD taunted him till the day he dies. Well, spooky. His words, not mine. Yes, author, you mentioned that. You mentioned his words, not yours. He told me to wait for a while so he could come. Eventually, I heard a knock on my front door. Upon answering it, my friend hastily shoved the case into my hand and ran off as if the end of the world was near. I don't want to be inserting logic, but let's move on. The only way, I was confused by his behavior and wanted to know why he behaved this way. The only way was to watch the DVD. God damn it, why does it always have to be investigating? You're gonna be dead once you've finished the DVD when we read the rest of it. Opening the case, there was black ink written on the disc saying, Episode 6B Himeko of the Night. I made my way to my laptop and popped the disc in. After a moment of waiting, the first Japanese intro, Kibo no Kakareya, played, but my kawaii dance party was interrupted by loud screams and distorted noise halfway through. Almost something that some experimental lunatic musician would make. Okay, don't like where this is going. While the smiling faces of the three Powerpuff Girls dropped into frowns and tears. That's sad. What happened to them? What did they lose and that could have get them upset? Almost everyone else in the intro looked terrified as hell as a shadowy figure resembling Himeko loomed over them. However, this last 5 seconds of the intro concluded normally. I was confused as crap but continued watching the anyways. Why? I think eventually you're gonna be ending up like your friend over there. The episode title card appeared with Japanese kanji and a translation below reading Himeko of the Night. And yes, conveniently, there were subs on this DVD, like all animes. Yeah, subs have animes on DVDs. It started very much like the actual episode 6B, known here as just Princess Morbucks, the mansion of Himeko and her family. For the most part, the opening scene was her maids, and her introduction remained true to the final episode. At first, I was like, how the hell did this scare the daylights out of my friend? Intros aside, this seems pretty normal. Then it got to the part where Himeko picked up her beloved cat and gave a stock noblewoman's laugh. Okay, I don't like where this is going. It was at this point that things got even more crazy. Instead of the black Z rays zapping her and her cat, I was greeted to a completely different scene wherein I think you forgot to put a space. An enormous paw with sharp claws resembling a wolf's bursted up from the ground. To her surprise, she attempted to run away but accidentally tripped and fell, her cat leaving her behind. Himeko could only watch as the paw inched closer to her. "Please, don't hurt me," she helplessly pleaded. As if to say no mercy, the paw stuck its sharp claws into her right arm, causing her to emit a blood-curdling shriek of pain. Okay, there it is, just completely out of nowhere all of a sudden. Tears began to stream from her eyes at a heavy rate. As this occurred, blood started to leak from the arm. I was extremely shocked that the people behind this show were content with such a concept, and now began to understand my friend's fright. Another thing that shocked me was how realistic her scream and crying were, as if the actress was really scared during recording. This doubled with the rather spooky, scary soundtrack, almost like something from the Twilight Zone, sent chills up on my spine. Okay, I don't like where this is going. You mentioned the Twilight Zone, a 60s classic. The scene ended with the paw suddenly dissolving and Himeko collapsing to the ground, no one else in sight. The episode then went to the school scene where Himeko, a bandage around her arm, is trying to get people to notice, at the very least, hang out with her. However, instead of just ignoring her, the students in this version act more malicious. Okay, I really hate where this is going. They actually looked up to her and called her rather insulting names like freak show or ugly, and some began to pinch her injured arm. In pain, she ran to the back of the class crying, where she encounters the titular Powerpuff Girls sitting at their desks, her only 3 chances to actually be friends with someone. She asks Buttercup first like usual, but when she poses in front of the tomboy, Buttercup, instead of rubbing her nose on Himeko's dress, delivers a punch into her face, sending her into Bubbles' desk. Whoa, Buttercup, have you taken the meds for the day? The usual peppy Bubbles now had an absolute look of scorn on her face. Her only words were, "Go away or die." That's a threat. Bubbles, why would you do this? Himeko lastly went to a dozing Blossom and shook her awake. For one reason. However, instead of asking who Himeko is, she shuns her desk into the girl's chest, sending her into the front wall. Damn, that's brutal. Not only was the whole class, even Miss Kane, laughing at her, but she also began to cough up blood as she tearfully looked up at her aggressors. Damn! I didn't know where this was going to be going to that point. Sad music began to play as she yelled at them. "I've had enough. All I ever wanted was to be treated with respect, but for some reason, no one will let me have a chance." She then ran out of the school. Yeah, because of emotional and physical abuse. My reaction went from terrified to saddened and angered. Poor Himeko was being bullied by everybody, even the freaking Powerpuff Girls. What more could this stupid thing throw at me? I got my answer, and it wasn't pretty. The rest of the episode drastically differed from the final product. I don't like where this is going. A time card read, "That night" appeared. The episode then showed a good minute and a half of poor Himeko crying her heart out into her pillow. I cried along with her as I could relate to the scenario. Just then a full moon shined into her bedroom window and onto her, getting her to look up. Seconds later, her body began to shake violently. What's going on? She tearfully asked, scared. She begins to notice there's brown hair growing all over her body. It soon covered her entire body. Oh gosh, I don't like where this is really gonna be going into the direction. While that was going on, she undergoes a series of painful transformations with cringe-worthy bone crunching. They included her usual puffy hair turned dark into same brown color of all the body hair. Her eyes faded from red to a lime green. A snout grew from her face that ended in a large blue nose. Her teeth became sharp. Her ears became pointy. A tail grew from behind, and claws appeared from the ends of her fingers and toes. They were so large that her toe claws popped out of her shoes. Where did all of this turning into a wolf come from? Hi, I shouted. Himeko has become a werewolf. That's what I'm saying. I was treated to a scene where I clearly pained Himeko began to snarl and run out of control. She busted through the walls and made her way to the bottom of the house, which is where the other family members were. She encounters her parents. Hearing the noise, her father turns around. What does that sorry excuse of a daughter? Himeko lunged at him, slicing him in half. Where did this whole family abuse thing come from? Where does it come from and why was it there? She then went on. Before the mother could do anything, she got her neck slit by a claw. What? Why? Why? In both cases, blood squirted everywhere. She then went on murder for all the maids, covering the lawn in their blood. Oh, come on now. Why? Why does it always have to be blood? Why can't it just be Coca-Cola? Now, on the street, she decided that her next target would be the students and especially the Powerpuff Girls. By this point, I was practically cheering on Himeko. She was finally getting revenge on her aggressors. Yay! Well, I'm glad you are, bud. I'm not. We then cut to the professor's laboratory. The camera panned through the dimly lit room to show Professor Utonium, Ken, and Peach. All of them were brutally killed. Utonium had his head chopped off, Ken was sliced at the face, and Peach was demolished to nothing but a crater with scattered parts of him surrounding it. Where did this all come from? And I'm just in disbelief seeing this. In a corner, the Powerpuff Girls were all tied up. Where did this all come from? Shaking in fright at the sight of Himeko, bounced before the camera shifted outside were some blood splatters on the window. I mean, I think she's probably killed the Powerpuff Girls. I was then treated to a montage of Himeko killing several characters, including her classmates and Miss Kaon, all accompanied by what sounded like stock horror music. Oh my god. At this point, I'm just in disbelief. As her rampage came to a close, the dawn came, reverting her back to normal. She looked at her blood-stained hands and dress, and having no memory of what happened, she began to freak out. Just then, her cat appeared untouched, but she also gave a shocked look and ran off to an unknown destination. No, wait, Himeko called. It was no use as the cat already left. Damn. Dejected, she then looked at the damaged and dead bodies that surrounded her. So this is what I'm meant to be. A monster. I know now what I must do. The picture faded to her in her bedroom again, where she was holding a gun to her chest and screaming fierce. Where did this whole mass suicide thing come from? Her face scrunched up. She then looked straight at me and uttered one word. Why? I was about to yell, "No!" when she shot a silver bullet into her heart, killing her instantly. Oh my god. After a few seconds, a message in kanji appeared along with the translation. It reads as follows. Oh my. As life flows, it becomes increasingly difficult to suit in with society and be accepted by everyone, and it sometimes results with you being seen as the bad guy. Whether you choose to keep fighting or end it all, just remember that the battle will only get worse and worse. The usual ending didn't appear and instead had scrolling white text on a black background accompanied by more sad music. The DVD then ended. I immediately took the disc and attempted to contact my friend, but he wasn't there. Odd, since he's usually active. I was about to call it a night when I heard a snarl from outside. I immediately took the disc and attempted to contact my friend, but he wasn't there. Odd, since he's usually active. I was about to call it a night when I heard a snarl from outside. I looked out to see one angry wolf girl who seems hungry from my flesh. Well, damn it, I muttered as I accepted my fate. And that's the end of the story. And the author is probably dead or so. Rest in peace, author. Rest in peace. And with that being said, that's the end of the story and video. Hope you really enjoyed it, because I sure did. The more pointless details were, where did all this whole abuse come from? And it's just to the point where did this whole abuse come from to the point where she committed suicide? Why did the Powerpuff Girls abuse her? And why was Buttercup punching her? There is so many questions that I don't understand. Anyways, that's the end. Hope you enjoyed. You can finally exit and take a break. For now, I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye.